All right. Good morning, ladies and William. Thank you for joining us this morning in our June's Coach Launchpad. My name is Elena Sarango Muñiz. And for those of you that don't know me, I am a volunteer for ICF. I'm an ICF member. I'm an executive and leadership coach. And I started this Coach Launchpad as an initiative that I thought was needed for those coaches like me back then, 2 years ago, that wanted to, and I'm still there, wanted to learn more and more about how to build your business as a coach, as a consultant, maybe as a speaker. I just came back from a 3-day boot camp on how to be a powerful professional speaker. So maybe I'm going to do a session about that soon so you guys can learn from what I learned, which was very exciting. And so we also have a WhatsApp group for those of us that are in the Coach Launchpad, where I usually announce who our next speaker is. We meet every second Monday of each month. And this Monday, we have our own ICF ACC coach, Ann Jorgensen, who will be talking to us about a very interesting topic that she has also learned to craft even deeper because of the learnings that she just went through in previous boot camps. I'll let Ann introduce herself and introduce the topic. We'll leave at the end some time for you to ask any questions you might have. And if you're curious about how to join the WhatsApp or anything regarding this ICF Launchpad, feel free to connect with me in LinkedIn. I'll be happy to, or message me and I'll be happy to answer any questions for you. So without further ado, Ann, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me today. I am Ann Jorgensen and I am a legacy coach. I help people who already outgrown the traditional success metric to learn how to build the fulfilling life and how to build their own legacy. And during the process, a couple of months ago, I crossed paths with Elena. And Elena shared with me the launch pad. I went on one of her launch pad and it was so impactful. So I just sent her some message and really excited about it. And I also share with her some thing that I've learned along the way. And that's when Elena asked, so would you like to come and speak in our launch pad? Um, that's why I am here. But like you, I am not actually like you. I am actually a new coach. I got my coaching license last March and struggling still. So this launchpad is really helping me learn how to build the business. Yeah, I learned that learning the coaching skill is one thing, building a coaching business is another thing. So since we are all here, I would like to learn a little bit more about you. Could you type in the chat quite quick what coaching that you do? And are you all in Houston? So please type in the chat so that I get to know a little bit about you. Yeah, Megan, executive coach. And so there's Elena.
And
Yeah,
can you get closer to your microphone? There's a little, it sounds a little too far away from
yeah. So I will move it here. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me better?
a
Um,
tiny little better, tiny, maybe a little bit closer.
yes. So maybe I will, yeah, I will raise my voice a little bit so that you can hear me better.
Thank you. That's better.
Um, yeah. you are a life and career transition coach. There is and for Shannon, executive leadership coach. Yes. So a little bit about me, and let me share with you my screen here. Um, Here is me. I am from Vietnam. As you can see, I'm Vietnamese. Um, so in order to communicate better with others, I need to go to Toastmaster to learn public speaking with only sole purpose so that when I speak, people would not look at me like this and say, huh? But after I learned everything I need to learn, so I thought at Toastmaster, I go there and have 5 years there. I even had that DTM, the Distinguished Toastmaster. I went through 3 paths and got to the highest award over there. Still, people still look at me uh, and the worst experience that I got was happened to me 3 months ago, last March, when I got this invitation from Role Model Maker. This is the organization that speak about family, how to build family, how to build your legacy. And I got the honor to have the 6 week series, to attend a 6 week series with them. I was so excited. I This is my chance to communicate with all the people globally from all over the world. And over there, I prepare a perfect presentation, beautiful slides, and I thought I have the flawless delivery. I even have the chat so that I can communicate with people from all over the world, where they are from, what time is it there. But when I asked my critical questions in the presentation, it was cricket. And the worst part was it was only the first day of the 6 week series, which means that I have another 5 weeks once per week, so 5 more days to go without connection. And this painful experience in March led me to a quest. At first, I was wondering what's really going on and why nobody really want to engage with my content. What did I do wrong and how could I do better? And with that, I came to realization that more than 90% of what we do is controlled by our subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind could come to with our body language, our hand gesture, our vocal variety, but yet most of our presentations fail because they only speak to the conscious mind. And that is why I set out my quest to search to communicate to the subconscious mind of my audience. And that led me to this presentation today. When I found Russell Rosen on his selling online course. I know Russell for a long time. I've been to some of his mentees' courses, and it was very powerful. And I always ask them, how can you do that? How can you communicate in such a clear manner and really impactful? And they say, oh, it's all come from the funnel hacking life of Russell Brunson. And I just talk about it, but never really have any curiosity to check it out until my painful experience. And then his selling online course pop up. And that's where I signed up for it. And there I learned the problem of most of presentation is target on the conscious mind, but decision happen in the subconscious mind. And over there, I learned the perfect presentation model where you can connect with people in subconscious mind, where you can instantly gain the authority, where you can have emotional resonance, and where you can premiumly position yourself and your service. And so, with that, in this content today, I will offer you what I've learned. Of course, it's a 3 days event, so I could not tell you all the things that I've learned, but I only instill the part that I think that resonate the most, which is the presentation that transform for business. I will talk about the perfect webinar framework. I will talk about how to gain the connection through BEST framework, BEST, and how to have replication cost. Yeah. So according to Russell Bronson, there are 3 brains everybody has. The first is the conscious mind, then the subconscious mind, and the instinctive mind. Well, with the subconscious mind, it speaks in emotion and logic. And to speak with it, we need to speak in questions. This is the mind that learn. This is the mind that create. This is the mind that communicate with others. But then it's only a little part of our mind or conscious mind. We usually function in subconscious mind. This is the bigger part of our mind. This is the 90% that control everything else, that control our behavior, our eating habit, our breathing, our memories, and everything we do, the story we tell ourselves, everything is belong to this subconscious mind, and it speak in stories. And the third one is the instinctive mind. This is the mind that keeps us safe, and it keeps us safe by telling us the thing that we should fear the most, so that it can aware us, and it speaks in absolute. So the thing that knowing their language would help us be able to speak to it and have the communication to it, so that we can use our mind the most. And I did ask in the training with Russo, I asked if I can use his material, and he said yes. So a little disclaimer, all of the figure that you see here are not from me. It's come from Russo Brunson, and I do have his permission to do it. Yeah. So again, subconscious mind speak in questions, conscious mind speak in questions, subconscious mind speaks in story, and instinctive mind speak in absolute. Then what does it mean, and what this information tell us? Well, what I've learned is, since the subconscious mind speak in story, then when we speak to it, we need to speak in story so that it can understand. And if we have any belief or false belief that we want to transform for ourselves or for others, we cannot just say, oh, you need to change it, but we need to have a story that trumps the story that they have in mind. And Russo come up with this one perfect framework that he calls the perfect presentation framework. It's simple as hook, story, offer. So at first he tell a hook where it makes you feel very engaged and curious about what he will teach. Then he tells story, and then he will have the offer. So that is the simple version of it. And the more complicated version of the perfect webinar is the hook or say that it's the story or the title of the webinar. That is the hook. Then he has his 3 points. The first point is his map. Second point is his internal belief. And the third point is external belief. And in each of these story, he will tell it in the story, hook story way. Hook story manner. The hook would be the map, then he tell the story. And then the next would be internal, like the fear, and he has the story. And then the last one will be the external, and then he tell the story. And then later on, he will ask question. Let me ask you question. He has question, and then he tells story, question, he tells story, question, he tells story. And then at the end, he summarizes it, and then he gives it a prize point. So to demonstrate it, I will lead you to this presentation. And so far, I really wonder, how do you feel so far? Do I lost you yet? Do you feel that you can apply this? Is it simple enough? Do you think that you can apply this into your webinar? Can you type in the chat to see what have you struggled before and what can you apply it through what I told you from the beginning to now? Yes, yes, yes. And that's what I about to go through. Yeah, when he talked about the hook story framework, I'm like, this is too simple. This is too simple. Now, can you tell me a little bit more? How can I apply it? And that's when he lead to this one. So the next part that that I'm gonna talk about is this. How can I make this bigger? Can you see my screen like a big screen or?
No, it's we can see the big slide, but then the slides below.
How
Um,
about now?
there we go. Perfect.
Yeah. So now this is the best framework. And in this best framework, they talk about the behavior. Best is the synonym for B is for behavior, E is for emotion, S is for situation, and T is for thought. And what he said is usually in the presentation, we state the problem, but in order to gain the resonance with the audience, we don't talk about problem. We talk about their pain. Because without the pain, they would not be able to connect. For example, if we say, well, smoking is bad, then they don't feel it. But we can tell them that, okay, smoking can harm your lung and it can harm, like the smell will give other people around you the distinct irritation. Then that is when the pain kick in. And from that pain, people can understand you more. And how can you communicate the pain? That is when you talk about the behavior. That is when you talk about the emotions. That is when you talk about the situation and the thought. You don't just talk about smoking problem, but you talk about the whole thing. Or in my case, for my presentation, when I have cricket, I know that my presentation doesn't have that connection. That is my problem. But what is the behavior of my audience? Well, nobody is typing or nobody really answered. It has the engagement, but I lost the connection. So that is the behavior. and the emotions, what I feel. I feel anxiety, and I still have 5 more weeks to go. And the situation was when I was presenting in front of the whole group of global people and have no connection whatsoever. And the thought going through my head was, I'm such a failure. What can I do? And I thought I learned everything I need to learn at Toastmaster. Why didn't it work? That was my thought. So here are a couple questions that Russell has for us. The behavior we can ask, what did they do? The emotion, we can ask, what did they feel? In the situation, we will ask, what was happening? And in the thought, what did they think? And this, I realized that it's not only applying to the presentation or the webinar. We can apply this to our online post. We can apply this to our communication with others. We can apply this to everything that we do. When we have before, when I ask people, so what is it that you are facing? I right away jump into the solution, but I missed out on a lot of things. I missed out on, so what do you do in that situation? What do you feel? And what was really happening? What's going to your thought? I can always ask these best questions that I before missing out on. And these questions really help you learn more about your audience, about your future clients, about your current clients. And it's also help you learn more about everybody that you communicate with or you contact with. With my son, I also apply this and I understand his thought better. So this is the best framework that he offered, and I feel like it has a tremendous help in my presentation. And then he talked about the replication cost. So I also have this problem when I price my program and I don't know how to price it. How can I best give it a price? Shall I base on the time that I spend or what is the backup on it? And through the training, I've learned that no, you should not price based on the time that you spend for it, but you base on the trial and error that your audience may get. You base on the time and effort that they have and the problem you help them solve. You base on the money that invested because you learn this. Let's say if I've been to Russell Brunson uh, funnel hacking live, it's 25,000 right there. And if I use that knowledge and I train my clients, they now can save that money. So how much can I price on that? I can price based on the money invested, or I can also price on the unique authority and experience as well as the outcome that my clients can get. And here are the replication costs that they break it down. So you can talk about each and every of them. Now, go back to that perfect webinar framework that Russell had. So he has the first original story, the big square, the big rectangle thing here. In this thing, he can talk about his original story, why he looked for the thing he looking for, and what is new opportunity, what is new learning that he had from that learning that he had. And then down there he has the 3 story. And the 3 story he presented in hook story, hook story, hook story. And then he has the question. Now go to my presentation today. I have the big thing in my presentation. I have a sucking presentation that lead to the quest of finding a way to have a perfect presentation that can transform my audience and transform my business. And my story of role model maker and my struggle with Toastmaster that I could not apply those knowledge into my presentation. That was my big story. And then my three little story here, or the three tips that I have. The first tip is about the perfect webinar framework that I've learned from Russell. The second tip was about the best framework that talk about the pain instead of the problem. And the third one is the replication cost. And what's next? The next one I can ask about the question and answer. A question about what try and error that you have with your presentation, what time and effort that you have spent for your presentation that you don't gain any result, what money investment that you have, and how this presentation could help you with that. And then a call to action. Well, here's the learning Launchpad. So I didn't have any call to action except for connect with me on LinkedIn. That is my call to action. And now you see how I can apply all of this to my presentation so that I could have a better presentation. In order to do it better, I can have the story for each of this. So the story for the perfect webinar framework, a story for gaining connections, and the story for replication cost. And that is how you go into other people's mind. And so that is my presentation today. So if you have any feedback, you can send me on LinkedIn. Again, my LinkedIn is my name, Ann Jorgensen, or this link here. Or you can also connect with me through my Linktree. And in there, you will find my LinkedIn as well. And if you want this slide deck, you can message me on LinkedIn and send me your email address, and I can send this slide deck to you. And with that, I end my presentation today. So thank you very much for coming here. And my question to you is, what would you do next with what you learned so far? Yeah.
Amazing, and thank you so much. That was very interesting. I found that the different brains, I always knew about conscious and subconscious, but I never have heard about the is it the fear, the reactive brain, right? The is that what you call it, the reactive brain?
Instinctive.
The instinct brain. Yes, thank you. That's amazing. So it's only 10 of us here, so I invite anyone to come out of mute and ask Anne any questions you might have about the knowledge that she just shared with us.
I have a question for Anne. This is Teresa.
Yes.
Teresa.
And I was wondering, so based on your experience, the experience that you shared where you were in this 6-week program and you got crickets, right? Once you've learned more about this framework, can you give an example of like one thing you would have changed based on this learning that you now have, this kind of tool that you have, that you would have changed in that presentation had you had, this framework?
Perfect. This is so good. Yes, you talk about my sleepless night. I have a lot of sleepless nights on how can I apply this to my presentations. And first and foremost, I found out that whatever I present was whatever in my head. Um, the legacy program, the fulfilling building program, what I think people is interested, but not really. I'm not quite sure. And maybe because of that, nobody really responds because I don't speak their language. That's not their concern at all. So with that, I after that I come up with a whole research on what really people want from me. I have the whole market research to start with before my presentation. And then I create the roadmap. Well, what I talk about doesn't make any sense because I realize that people has many level. Somebody can be at the start, somebody already in midway, some maybe at the end ready to go to the next level. So with each level, I should have a different approach and different program and different language that state their pain. So in the whole presentation, I talk about their problem. Your problem is this, and I have your solution. The problem is this, I have the solution. But I didn't go into their behavior, their emotion, their situation, and their thought at the time. And to be honest, I don't even know what they are. So with my market research, I've been able to learn more about what their fears are, what their problems are, not just their challenge, but their fear and their emotion and the language they use to describe it. So that my presentation would be better connecting with them. And then in the pricing, before I jumped right away into connecting with me. If you want my program, uh, hook up with me. And that is a very uh, inappropriate way to do it. Knowing where their pains are and what they need, I can tailor make the packet, and I can address the how to say objections beforehand. The objection will be those replication costs, what they worry about the time and the effort, what is their try and error, what is the money investment that they have. So those are the objection that definitely they will have. And not only money investment, it could be time investment that they may have in my program. So knowing that, I will be able to address it one by one. And knowing that, I'll be able to talk to them better. And when I present my whole program and the pricing, it will make more sense to them because all of the objection is already been handled upfront. So I have a lot to go back and transfer all my presentation. Now I need to put it away and create a new one. It's ridiculous. So that is how I apply it. And I wonder if you have any ideas how you could apply it into your presentation or your webinar. Yeah.
And it makes me think of just kind of the fundamentals of coaching, right? It for us as coaches, I think we have to apply it in the same way, which is understanding you're coaching the person, right? And you're understanding what their need is,
Yes.
and then working from there, not coming from a position, like you said, where you're saying, well, this is what I've got, and this is how this is going to work for you, right? You're saying, okay, well, tell me what's going on with you. You're trying to, as a coach, understand what the person is going through, what their maybe their pain points are, right? So you can coach them in a way that they get the greatest value out of what you're providing. And so I guess when I listen to this framework that you've shared and the example you shared, it just makes me think of coaching as a whole and not going in. I have my background is in HR. just like Elena and I think Omatoye, I think. Right. So, we're used to being advisors. So when we go in, we're listening and then we're thinking of solutions already versus really trying to understand what's going on and then helping and supporting whoever is sitting in front of you, your client, with reaching the answers that they really already hold, right? You're there as a guide. And so it just makes me think, this framework makes me think of an even maybe more streamlined way of applying this to presentations, to, coaching relationships and so forth. So I think that's the way I would use it. I could see it being beneficial in that way.
Yeah, thank you very much for acknowledge the way we coach and how we use this and how aligned it is to what we already doing. What I see is very valuable for this program is that in our coaching, usually we coach one-on-one.
Mhm.
And we present 1-to-1, and that is it. And now it is very different when we do it one to many. When we speak
Right.
to a lot of people, then how can we have the conversation going on? How can we learn about their concern? And how can we address each and every one of it? So that's why this framework is really helpful for us to speak one to many,
Mhm.
and it can address the mass instead of just one-on-one. And at some point, for right now, I still do one-on-one, but at some point, I think that if we want to scale our business and we will need to streamline the whole process and have the system in place, and then we will need to speak one to many, because how else could we do it? Yeah, yeah,
Well, thank you for providing the example. The framework is interesting. I think it's very useful.
yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Is there anybody else that have any question for me on this?
And I just wanted to share that what you've shared resonates with what I had heard from somebody. I can't remember who it was, but it's your value is not valued unless you address the pain of your ideal client.
Mm,
That stuck with me forever, right? Your value is not valued. So you can be talking to the wrong audience. You can be throwing darts in the dark. But until you are not addressing the pain of your ideal client, hint, hint, ideal client, you're not going to be valued. So I think that fits really well here.
yes, and thank you very much for that wisdom. I wish I know it earlier, but no worry. Now I know this. Also, I heard somebody said until you say, if you address the pain, if you state the pain in the way that other people cannot state it, they will instantly think that you have the solution,
Yes.
that that you connect with them. So it's so important to address their pain, and before we position ourselves and provide a solution. Yeah.
I agree. If you can state the pain, the problem better than your potential client, you got it.
Yes, 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 yes. That is the thing. Yeah. If you
Yeah.
take the pain better than they do,
Yeah.
you gain the
That's
trust.
when they are like, oh my God, I need you. I need you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Teresa, thank you for that question. Anyone else have any questions for Anne? And it doesn't have to be about this presentation, because I have a question for Anne that is not about this presentation. Because let me
Mm.
tell you, this lady is on she is so active on top. She's a leader in the coaching space because she is so hungry and eager, and she's constantly learning and coming up with new stuff. Like she's really serious about becoming a very successful entrepreneur. I admire you big time, Anne. Um, any questions about her presentation? Okay, so Anne, I know you have enrolled in a new program with, and you guys might have heard about him. Oh gosh, now his name is gone. Bill
Yeah.
Coach Build, no, Coach Builder.
Oh no, I don't know him.
Oh, you didn't, Donald Miller. You didn't enroll
Oh,
to,
Donald Miller. Yes, 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 yes. The coach. Oh, Coach Builder. Yes, yes. This thing. Yes.
yes. Thank you. Who's someone that I've been following since I started my business. Do you mind sharing with us, and how is it going so far? What are you getting out of that program?
Oh, that is another thing that that I need to learn. So he go into not just sharpen your coaching skill, but how to build your coaching business. And he break it down into the 8 steps. Um, and how can we reprogram our mind into how to deliver our knowledge to the clients in the bite-sized way and to a different approach. We are not the hero. They are the hero, and we are just the guide to guide them and to make them feel good and more confidence coming out of this. Um, and then in there, he also what I love most about this thing is one of the steps talk about how can we put ourselves in the environment where it help us really going stronger, help us learn the knowledge from other people and be able to help us go to our clients. Um, so that environment could be the environment of other coach. And that's what I love about Elena and her Launchpad program, where she invites a lot of different coaches here to share with us their knowledge. And we can also cooperate together with each other to launch our program stronger. And then the environment, it could be the environment with our affiliate, or we can borrow other people stage so that we can speak about our program, or we can cooperate with others. And in there, he break it down clearly. How do you position yourself? How do you see yourself? How do you trap your message in a single level? And then how you can work together with others. So that's what I love about this Coach Builder program. So maybe next time I can give a brief on that if you want, if you are interested. But that is the one program I still need to do more on that. I'm only on the first step, so second step, and still need to work more on that.
Yeah, when you finish the program, you come back to us, Anne, and share another session about that.
Yes.
Any any questions, comments about what Anne has shared, or in general? Teresa, just anything. Let's use this platform to ask any questions you might have. Go ahead, Teresa.
Teresa with a million questions. I don't want to monopolize the conversation.
I love it. I could not hear.
Yeah, we lost you, Teresa. We lost you. I think her internet, she froze.
So
Teresa, we'll let you come back in because we cannot hear you at all. Mm.
Okay, I
Yeah.
want to, I was late
But this
because I
question
didn't
really,
have the link. I didn't have the right
can you hear
link.
me?
Anyway, so can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you, Anne, for the presentation. It's a very interesting topic. I think as a coach, we increase awareness, and that's like, I thought this was specifically for the marketing arena, probably apply, as Teresa said, apply to coaching as well. It's very interesting, but thank you for sharing what you learned at somewhere else and with us to expand our awareness and to be more to grow in that area. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Kate, have we met each other
We
before?
haven't met. This is the first time but I think we might have on social media have some exchange.
We communicate through email, but now
Not
the
an
face
email,
looks
but
so
Facebook.
familiar.
And I think
Are you
on
in
Facebook,
Toastmaster by any chance?
yes, I am. Yeah.
VPE. Have you ever been VPE?
No, I was training VPE because I was the
Or VPM?
DCP chair a couple years ago. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe I met
Yeah,
you
I
at
was doing club
conference
officer
somewhere.
training a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Teresa, are
So
you?
you are a Toastmaster.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let me see if Teresa is back. Teresa, are you able to talk? You
Can you
wanted
hear
to
me?
say. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me leave my camera off because it may be the internet on my end. Really quick question for Anne and Elena. Do you both, just your experience as coaches, do you believe that the only way to successfully build your coaching business is to do presentations and facilitate in order to build that business versus focusing on just your one-on-one, coaching sessions or clients?
Great question, Teresa. And as my guest, I will let you answer that first.
Thank you, Elena. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Because I see a lot of successful coach don't even have presentation. And in fact, when I first joined the ICF website 6 months ago, I tried to gather all of the powerful questions and make a book out of it. I want to gather 1,000 powerful questions. Well, I'm a baby coach. I didn't know what I didn't know. One person reached out to me and he said, well, there's no such thing as powerful questions. You need to base on the situation. But he did spend an hour talking to me and he shared with me his presentation and a list of 1,000 powerful questions. Like, why you say no such thing and you gather this? And he said, well, 10 years ago, just like you, I also gathered these powerful questions. And at the end, I find out there is no such thing. Um, and then I asked him, so how do you come up with these powerful questions? What make it powerful? And he said that his approach was walking with clients and climbing on the trail and the mountain. He lived in Colorado, and that's what he did. He walked the trail and he climbed the mountain while he coached his clients. Some route is 1 hour round, some route is 2 hours. And that's how he do the coaching. No presentation whatsoever. But the questions are coming during the conversation on that trail. So through that conversation, I came to realize that no such thing as the 1,000 powerful questions. It need to be in the present, and no such thing is one size fits all. Sometimes we don't even need the webinar. We can just have the conversation with our client.
Now, that was a beautiful answer. Thank you, Anne. So I have a different twist to that question, Teresa. Um, no, yeah, no, you don't have to create a webinar. I don't think you have to create a course. But nowadays, our profession, coaching, is so saturated that you have to stand out. You have to not just be another coach. And the only way to do that is to be out there, get out there so people can see you, so people can know you, so people can notice you. And the best way to do that is to use videos, to use social media. And the more, and I've tested this myself, the more videos I create, the more I post on Instagram or LinkedIn, which are my main two social media platforms, the more followers I get and the more connections, live connections I have, therefore more probabilities for someone to see me. I have, as you might know, Teresa, I was just recently speaking at a conference, and that was big exposure for me, right? So, boom, a lot of people got to know me and what I am about and who and why I'm different from other presenters. So, I think in a way you do have to get out there. You cannot just hide behind your computer and expect that people will find you. Now, there's ways to do it by reaching out to, your network, and we know the connecting part of things and the the offering to have a conversation. But I think getting out there in video is so powerful. And if you don't do it, you're wasting a big resource you have. So if you want to for people to know you and to get to know who you are, you have to show them who you are. You have to, you know, let them see you. That's my opinion.
Makes total sense. Thank you both for your thoughts on that question. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question.
Um,
Anyone else?
I do have questions for everybody.
Yes.
So now that you learn about this presentation, what would you do? Or what one thing or two things that you will apply to your next presentation or webinar, or how do you apply it? Not even to your presentation, maybe to the way you ask questions. What would you do differently?
Anyone? I like that best framework, and I think what is making me the three brains was for me amazing because in my presentations I always talk about the two brains, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, but I never talk about the three different types of brains. So that's already a change I'm going to start making in my presentations. And then the best framework, I what I've captured from you is that I need to come up with more stories. And I'll share with you something that I just recently learned, that you grab post-it notes, three different colors. And in one color you put all the different pains or problems that your ideal client has. This color. And then you grab a different color and you put all the different ideas that you have that could solve that pain. And the third set of post-its is all the different stories you can match. So then you start matching pain, idea, and story. So that's how I'm going to use it. And because with the framework that you just gave me, it's making me think about the stories that I'm going to come up with. But I think it matches that the three post-it, the three colors.
Wow, beautiful. I'll love that. I will use that, steal that to organize my ideas as well. Yeah.
That's what this is all about, is to share all this knowledge we have. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to end the session because I have a client in 1 minute. So I
Yeah.
thank you everyone for showing up. Next month in July, I'll announce it in the WhatsApp group, but we have um, intellectual property trademark. And I have a lawyer coming to talk to us, so don't miss that session. And thank you so much. This was wonderful. And thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.